Hey third graders, this time of the year we are normally getting ready to go on a wonderful field trip. We go and do the City of Marion tour every year.
But this year we're stuck at home. So since you don't get to do the City of Marion tour, we've hired our stunt doubles, Cindy and Rita, to take you on a virtual tour of Marion so you can learn all about the city that you live in. Better watch.
We're gonna
Have a lot of
fun.
Woohoo! Air five. Hey Cindy,
Yeah.
you ever been over here before?
No, what is this building?
This is City Hall.
What happens in here?
I think if we go in, we could meet the mayor and maybe Mr. Boboyette. He's the city manager.
Oh, let's go in.
Let's go check him out. Let's see if we
All
can
right.
meet him. Hey guys, it's Cindy and Rita with you again, and we are going to introduce you to some wonderful people that run the City of Marion. Today we've got with us Bob Boyette, the city manager.
And we have our mayor, Steve Little. They're going to tell you a little bit about how they help run Marion, your City of Marion, and the things that they do to keep everything working and going like it needs to go.
All right, good morning, boys and girls. I'm Bob Boyette, City Manager with the City of Marion, and I wish you all were here at City Hall for our annual city field trip, but we're going to do this a little differently, a virtual field trip. So we're so happy to have y'all joining us virtually here at City Hall. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the City of Marion and the different things that go on here and the job that I do with the city. First, the reason that we have a city and the City of Marion is to provide services to people. When people live close together, there are things that they can't do on their own. People who live in the city, a lot of times their houses are very close together, only 15 or 20 feet apart, so they don't have enough room to grow their own food, to have their own well and septic tank. If they don't dispose of their garbage correctly, their neighbors can get sick. How they use their property can affect other people. So we have a city that's formed to provide services to people to make sure that they're healthy and safe and can live a good life. In North Carolina, a city or town is formed when the state gives a charter to a community that says that they can form a government. Marion was given its charter in 1844, so we are 176 years old this year, so that's pretty old. It's so old that there's nobody alive on earth who was alive in 1844. In North Carolina, there's over 550 cities and towns that range in population from the smallest, which is only 23 people, to the largest, which is 850,000 people. Charlotte is the largest city in North Carolina. McDowell County has 2 cities and towns, Marion and Old Fort. We've got a lot of other great communities where people live, like Glenwood and Nebo and PG and North Cove, but Marion and Old Fort are different, that they have a charter from the state that says that they can form a government and provide direct services to people. Marion has 8,500 people and is 6.5 square miles in size. So we're nowhere close to the largest city in the United States or North Carolina, but we are still larger than most cities and towns. In fact, 80% of cities and towns in North Carolina are smaller than Marion, so we're not a tiny place. The city is run by a mayor and 5 city council members. They are elected by the voters who live in the city every 4 years to represent them and to make decisions about the city. They pass laws that determine what can and can't be done in the city. They decide how the money gets spent, and they decide what projects get done. So it's their job to tell us what to do by listening to the public, by the people who vote them into office. The mayor and city council hire a city manager, and that's me, to run the day-to-day operations of the city. So my job is to supervise all of the city departments, like the police department, the fire department, public works department, planning department, and all the men and women who work for the city, and to make sure that the money that the city spends is spent correctly, and that all of the projects that the people in the city want and that the mayor and city council decide get done. The city provides a lot of services, and on your virtual field trip you'll get to see glimpses of some of those. We have a police department, a fire department, a public works department that picks up garbage, make sure our streets are safe, make sure that we have water and sewer, safe water to drink, that the wastewater is disposed of correctly, provide street lighting. We have a planning and zoning department here at City Hall, and building inspections, and other departments. Now, it takes a lot of effort to run the City of Marion. Even though we're not a really big city, it still takes a lot. My job is to make sure that everything runs correctly, but I can't do that by myself. In fact, we've got over 100 men and women who work for the city full-time, who provide the services that the citizens need. So it takes people to run the City of Marion. Those people, they need equipment, they need vehicles. Firefighters need fire trucks and hoses. Police officers need police cars. Our public works employees need things like shovels and backhoes and heavy equipment to do their work. All of these equipment, vehicles, buildings that the city has, water and sewer lines, everything that we have costs money. In fact, it costs over $11 million a year to operate the City of Marion. Now, that money doesn't grow on trees or come from the sky, so where do you think that the money comes from? Well, it comes from the people like your parents and family and teachers who pay taxes. The city has different kinds of taxes. There's a tax that is charged on all of the properties that are in the city. It's called a property tax. So that's an important source of money. And there's also a tax when you go to the store and you pick up something off the shelf and it's $10, and you get to the register, it's not really $10 because sales tax is added. And that sales tax, some of that goes to the city to help provide the services. And then the city gets money by selling water and wastewater services. The water treatment and wastewater treatment process is very complicated and expensive, and it takes a lot of money to do that. So the city charges for water and wastewater service. Here at City Hall, we don't have all of the fancy backhoes and dump trucks and police cars and fire trucks like other city departments have, but a lot of important work goes on here at City Hall. Here in the room that I'm standing, this is our lobby of City Hall, but it also twice a month becomes our city council chamber. We have city council meetings. Here behind me, we have the table where our city council sits and makes decisions about the city. And we put chairs out here, and the public can come and listen or make complaints, make requests of the city council, ask questions, because the government, the city, belongs to the people. It belongs to the people who live and work and own property in the city. So it's open to the public, and we encourage all of you, when we're able to open back up things and get back to normal, to come to a city council meeting sometime. They happen the first and third Tuesday night of each month at 6 p.m. and a lot of important business gets done here. Also here at City Hall, we have tax collection and water and sewer billing and collection. We have ladies who collect the money that it takes to run the City of Marion. We have our building inspector's office here. Our building inspector inspects all construction and all building projects in the city to make sure that buildings are safe. The houses that you live in, your schools, the public buildings that you go into, the stores, the factories where your families may work. We want to make sure all of those are safe for people to live and work. We have our planning and zoning department that's here. Here beside me I have a map of the city, and you see the shape of the city here. The city is broken into different zones. This is kind of what the city would look like, I guess, if we splattered paint from above on it. But the different zones represent different uses of land in the city. The orange and yellow areas represent places where people live. Those are called residential areas. The red and sort of light blue areas are business zones where we have stores. The darker blue, almost purple color, those are industrial areas where we have manufacturing plants, factories, where we have a lot of people in Marion and McDowell County working. And then we have our medical hospital area here, kind of in turquoise color, where we have medical facilities. And then we have some park areas that are shown in green. So the city, we divide the city into zones to make sure that the way one person uses their land doesn't hurt another person. For instance, if you had a house in the city, you might not want to live right next door to a noisy factory that kept you up all night and wouldn't allow you to sleep. Or you might not want to live right next to a hog farm that smelled really bad. So we try to separate those uses of land to make sure that they don't harm each other. On the bottom here is a map of McDowell County. Marion is located in McDowell County. You can see the outline of McDowell County. You can always recognize McDowell County on a map of North Carolina because it looks like a Hershey kiss. So if you ever look on the western side of North Carolina and you look for the Hershey kiss, and that's McDowell County. Here in City Hall, we also have our finance department that makes sure that the money that the city takes in is spent correctly. We have my office here, and we have our human resources office that helps people who are applying for a job with the city or dealing with things like insurance. A little bit about my job. I mentioned that I'm hired by the city council to run the day-to-day operations of the city. I have an interesting job. I have 6 bosses, the mayor and city council members, whose names are on the table behind me, are my bosses. A lot of people have one boss, but I have 6 of them. So my job basically is to do what the city council tells me to do the projects that they want, to make sure that the money is spent correctly once they pass a budget, and to make sure that the laws that the city council passes are carried out. Again, it takes a whole team, a whole village to help with that. All of the men and women who work with the city, all of the equipment that we have to make sure that the services are taken care of. So I like my job. I get to work with the public and help people with problems, help try to make our community better. I've been here almost 20 years in my position, and I've been working almost 27 years in city government in North Carolina, and I love what I do, and I hope to get to meet all of y'all at some point. So hopefully there'll be a time in the future when you can come by in person and hear a presentation or visit City Hall. I encourage you, if you want more information about the city, you can visit our website at marionnc.org, or look at our Facebook page and learn more about the city. We certainly appreciate you joining us for this virtual tour of the City of Marion, and hope this has been a good experience, and hope everybody is staying healthy and safe.
That was fun.
That was. was?
I know, I had a good time. Did you learn anything?
I did.
What?
Well, I learned that Bob Boyett's our city manager.
That's right. And what does the city manager do?
Well, I think that they take care of lots of things. You know what? Right over here's the place that the city manager helps take care of.
That's right. That's our park and our community building.
It's been closed for a while, but I think they're working on it.
I think so. Way to go, Bob Boyette and the city council and the mayor. Woohoo!